Now, what does it take to get the attention of your personal member of Congress? Well, a couple of UC Berkeley political scientists decided to ask that question and then decided to test that. Now, what did they find? Well, shockingly, they found that it took money. Lots and lots of money. Big surprise, right? Now, as I said, I'm going to go into this experiment from detailed in the Daily Dot. Now, their experiment, the researchers teamed up with Credo Action, which is a progressive activist network. Now, and they tried to schedule meetings with 191 members of Congress about a bill to ban a hypothetical environmentally damaging chemical. Well, not hypothetical. Sorry. They tried to schedule meetings with 191 members of Congress about a bill to ban an environmentally damaging chemical. Now, authors Joshua Kala and David Brookman wanted to see if identifying the Credo members seeking meetings as campaign donors rather than simply concerned constituents had any effect on their ability to get meetings. Now, the results here are not going to be surprising. So, as I said, Credo emailed its members who had donated to their local representatives, then sent a message to the staffers in charge of organizing the schedules of these 191 elected representatives. Each message said that about a dozen of the group's members wanted to speak with the lawmaker either in person or over the phone. Some of the messages identified people requesting the meeting as, quote, active political donors, where others were simply called concerned constituents. Now, as I said, this whole thing is to say, if you identify yourself as a potential donor, will you get more attention? Will you get a meeting with the lawmaker or more of your staffers? More of the time, as if you're just a regular, quote, concerned constituent without any money. Now, the meetings with donors, saying that you were a donor, made a huge difference. How big of a difference? All right. Well, back to the article. Credo members were able to meet with members of Congress or their chiefs of staff if they're a constituent about 2.4% of the time. When they identified as donors, those meetings occurred about 12.5% of the time. Now, that is about a 429% increase in their ability to get FaceTime with either a top staffer or a lawmaker himself. Members of Congress were more likely to meet with people, 3 times more likely to meet with people identified as donors than regular constituents. Similarly, people who want to meet with a representative in Congress have a 231% greater chance if they've donated in the past. Now, constituents were able to meet with district staff 13% of the time and district directors or legislative assistants 25% of the time. However, speaking with higher-ranking staffers, the lawmakers themselves was almost entirely reserved for donors. Amazing. Now, the authors of the study write, not all organizations or individuals can be described as campaign contributors, as many Americans cannot afford to contribute to campaigns. The difference between how congressional offices reacted to the meeting requests when they were and were not aware that organization members had donated thus provides a window into the reception organized groups that contribute to campaigns receive in Washington, shedding light on how they succeed in influencing politics and suggesting troubling implications for political equality. Now, we've already seen the studies and we've already seen the reports of where lawmakers spend roughly 4 hours a day on the phone calling rich people for money. All representatives. Everybody in Congress. We also know that in the Senate, 94% of the races are won by the person who has more money. We also know that is the case. And now we know that if you are a donor, you are more likely to get to meet with a representative or a high-level staffer in order to articulate any concerns you might have. If you have any issues, if you want to meet with them to discuss something that you care about. If you are a donor, you are much more likely to get to meet with that person. If you are not a donor, you're much less likely. And finally, there was that other recent study that showed that how we are continuing to slide towards becoming an oligarchy. Now, I would argue that we are pretty much already there. Our voices don't matter unless we have money. And this is just another piece of evidence that shows that we here on the ground, as citizens of the United States, we have to do something to continue to fight against the massive influence of money in politics. Because as all of these different studies show, that it's not issues that matter. It's not even people that matter. The only thing that matters now in our government is how much money you have and how much money you can give to a political campaign. And let me tell you what, that is not the kind of country that I want to live in, and I'm sure as hell pretty sure that it's not the country that most of you want to live in either. Unless you're a billionaire, this is not the place for you. We need to change the system. We need to get money out of politics, overturn Citizens United, and eliminate the notion that money is free speech. It is not. My speech should not be freer than yours if I have extra money. Sheldon Adelson should not have more speech than you. The Koch brothers should not have more speech than anyone else. Unions, if you're a conservative, should not have more speech than you as a person because of how much money they can bring to a campaign. We've got to fix the system, and we've got to get money out of politics. That's the only way that we're ever going to get anything done.